follow the route, and enjoy exploring. Seems pretty straightforward so far. Zygarde cells. Wait, what?
Just
hold on.
Bam.
Wait a second.
You're tuned into the GOCast podcast, your one-stop shop for updates, news, tips, and community in the world of Pokemon Go. Thank you for listening.
Routes are here. Are you en route?
Zygarde on our phones? That's totally cellular.
Whether it's 10%, 50%, or 100%, you'll get out what you put into this new event.
Squirtle is coming back for another victory lap in the pool.
And more on this episode of GOCast. Hello and welcome to the GOCast podcast, episode 244. It's July 22nd, yet another Saturday, midday. This is 3 in a row. None of them have been intentional. None of them. Not really.
Well, no, this week's is technically intentional.
This one was kind of intentional because you looked ahead and you were like, look, this week might not work out. We should probably figure something out. And rightfully so. We've had yet again another full week of things going on. So happy to get the chance to sit down and chat with you all the same, Kyle. As always, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm your host, Chris, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kyle.
Hiya.
Hey, Kyle. How you doing?
I'm alive and here right now.
Right. That's right. Vertical and podcasting, my ideal state of being, I understand. Before we get started here, shout out to patrons of ours. 4 new ones, my goodness, and one that increased their pledge. Big shout out and thank you to Zenitz, Jan Swanson, which is a great name, John Olson, Justin Allen, and big shout out to Fox Peterson for increasing their pledge. Thank you so much to all 5 of you. Your support is greatly appreciated. And more about Patreon and patronage at the end of the episode, or near the end of the episode, if I'm being very honest. Okie dokie. We set some goals last week, exactly a week ago. The nice thing about having the consistency on the Saturdays is that we have a nice consistent block of time between some episodes. There have been some times in the past where we recorded on a Saturday and then had to get back into our Tuesdays, and we're like, why do we set goals for a week? We only had
2 days,
48 hours, so 72 hours, something like that, to get it done. So it's been nice to play some. So Kyle, for yourself, Go plus usage, you actually got it and you've been using it, huh?
Yeah, I picked it up right after we recorded last week.
Yeah,
had to drive to a GameStop 25 minutes away to get one, but
outrageous.
Unbelievable. Well, look, I got a Target and a Walmart 5 minutes down the street, so the fact that neither of them keep it in stock is ridiculous.
Oh, jeez.
It occurred to me after I had gotten to the GameStop that I had a Best Buy that was closer to me, and I was like, well, that was a mistake, but I'm here.
That's all right. You're making GameStop stock prices go up, right? Isn't that the thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. And that's as involved as we're going to get in that entire topic. Okay, good. So that's a win. Go plus usage. Great. We're going to talk about our experience a little bit later, though. So I'm going to skim over that for now. 200,000 experience this week.
No, I got 100,000, but no, Go was at the very bottom of the list this week, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, last week you really knocked it out of the park with 2 million or something like that. So
yeah, I did.
So you're good. You're good, I think. But that's a no. What about Kamala? Did you get that Dex entry?
I did.
Oh, good. Great. I had a sneaking suspicion because I knew that you were having a busy week. I hung on to a few of them. I wasn't sure.
I think it was Sunday night after work. There was a Kamala on the radar, and I went to my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, do you want me to take your phone? I'll go catch this.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, sure. And then I went and drove, and I'm like, all right, I need to go to bed now.
Yeah. But you got it done. You
got
it done. And mega progress. Did you work on your megas at all?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Go did not get opened very much, so that definitely didn't happen.
Man. All right. Well, understandable. Completely understandable. 2 out of 4. That's a respectable effort. For myself, I wanted to track sleep each night, and I did do that. And Pokemon Sleep also came out. The app proper came out a few days ago, and I've been enjoying it. Been enjoying feeding my Snorlax berries. been visiting, getting Pokemon to visit and stuff has been interesting to see who pops up. And then I have to make this impossible choice between one Bulbasaur or a Croagunk or a Nigglybuff, and I'm like, who do I want to keep? And so then I keep the Croagunk, and 2 Bulbasaurs showed up, so that wasn't really a problem.
Wow.
It was great. But you know what? I saw on socials, and I hope I'm not ruining this big reveal for her later, but DeFi got a shiny Cubone.
I saw
Oh,
that. Man, my first night I got, I don't know, a Bulbasaur, a Psyduck, a Houndour.
Ooh.
And there was a 4th one. I can't remember what it was right now. Second night, 3 Caterpies.
Whoa, that's like a god pack. That's awesome. Oh, that's cool. No, we'll talk more about sleep in a little bit from here, but sounds like it's working for you at least. I know that's a big problem for some people.
Yes, it does work. It technically works.
Okay, good deal. Hatch 50 eggs. I didn't quite make that. I think I was in the 30s or 40s, something like that, but not quite 50 eggs. After this recording is going to be Riolu Hatch Day, though, so I do intend to make up my deficit in some way. But as of this check-in, I did not get it, unfortunately. Sorry to let you down, modders. I'm also letting myself down. Komala Dex entry. Yes, sir. Sableye Mega Progress. I said I wanted to do at least 3 or 4, I think, this week. I did do my 4. So
okay.
So that's a win. So 3 out of 4 for me. And by the skin of my teeth, I'm taking that belt back. Okay. Let's hop into the news because we've got a few pieces of news. It's 1 new feature and 2 events. So here we go. Yo, what up? It's the news. Okay, first and foremost, this is happening tomorrow, so there is a big chance, actually I can almost guarantee, that this will have already passed by the time you've heard this recording or this episode. Squirtle Community Day Classic makeup. So there were some issues. This is the short of it, honestly. There were some issues with this event for other time zones, but enough time zones that they didn't want to do a makeup for just like 1 or 2 places or time zones themselves. Instead, there is a Squirtle Community Day Classic makeup, whereas the full event, once again, tomorrow on the 23rd, it's a Sunday, from 2 to 5, same bonuses, same event overall. Yeehaw, right? Yeah, great. Yeah. Good stuff. So you can get Hydro Cannon by evolving into Blastoise. You'll get the Sunglasses Squirtles from tasks at Pokestops and stuff like that. This was sort of announced stealthily. I think that's a good way of putting it, Kyle. I mean, there was really no push notification. There is a blog post, but I don't remember seeing any fanfare or social posts. Although that doesn't mean that there wasn't one. I just didn't see it. Did you see any heads up or FYIs about this event?
I saw people talking about it, but I didn't see anything official. But again,
yeah,
I was not paying attention to official channels this week. So if it happened, I missed it.
Yeah. So I was plugged in because I always am. I've got notifications for Pokemon Go app tweets and things like that. And I just, it passed me by. So again, not to say that there wasn't some sort of announcement, but we both missed it if there was. So if you did get out and manage to participate in this day, I hope you had a good time and had the best shiny luck with them Sunglass Squirtles. Okay, let's move on to the quote, real news, unquote. Discover the world in an all new way with routes. Okay, it's finally here. We've been talking about routes as something that's been in the data for a long time. It was, I think it mined a really, really long time ago. The text has been there like years. We're talking like years ago. But that was, a pre-COVID world. And who knows what the roadmap for Go would have looked like without 2020, to 2022, 23, roughly, like up to present almost. Who knows what the game would have looked like? We might have gotten routes before remote raids or something else. Who knows? But it's finally here. It's pretty interesting so far. So we're going to get into it right now. Explore the globe with the Pokemon Go community as your guide. Chart a course to show off your favorite sites or follow in the footsteps of local trainers to see what that community loves. What's interesting, though, is that they say this, but I think you can kind of get an idea of what a community likes based on the stops that they nominate when you go places, Yeah,
I agree. When I see a park that's got like 12 stops, I'm like, okay, well, someone probably likes to play there.
Yeah. Oh, they did all the flagpoles. Oh, okay. Yeah. Routes are created by adventurous trainers just like yourself. Imagine what you'll find as you travel another trainer's route. An encounter with your favorite Pokemon, a new friend to share raid battles with. Follow a route and find out. All right, so this has been broken down into sections, and while this is largely an audio-based podcast, I will have some of the pictures up for the video version as well. But this is heavily visually based, this article, so here we go. We'll try to fill in the gaps where we can. First, make a route. Choose a Pokestop or gym to be your starting point. Hit record to begin mapping your route. Fill out some info about your route, then submit it for review. And once accepted, trainers can follow your route. Exploring a route. Check the route tab from the nearby menu to see local routes. Choose one that catches your eye. Follow the route and enjoy exploring. Seems pretty straightforward so far. Zygarde cells. Wait, what?
Just
hold on.
Bam.
Wait a second. Who now? Oh, it's a new Pokemon. It's not just any Pokemon. This is like this is a big deal Pokemon. We'll get to why a little bit later. But keep an eye out while you're exploring a route. You might come across a Zygarde cell. Zygarde cells are the components that make up Zygarde, the order Pokemon. You can collect Zygarde cells in your Zygarde cube and use these cells to change Zygarde's form. Encounter Zygarde in the special research story from A to Zygarde. Now, those last 2 points of, using the Zygarde cube and from A to Zygarde, the research, we're getting ahead of ourselves. The next blog post after this is the event that coincides with the launch of this feature, and we'll talk more about Zygarde and Zygarde acquisition in that event, or the special research, rather. Follow a route. Sorry, this is bonuses for exploring routes. Follow a route to its end for the first time to earn a new route badge. Earn buddy candy more quickly. Pokemon will be more attracted to incense when you're exploring a route for the first time. And from what I've seen online today, this does seem to also apply to adventure incense. I've seen some people pulling 31, 32 spawns. So that's pretty decent.
Okay.
Earn an XP bonus for the first route you complete each day. After completing routes for 7 days, you'll receive an increased XP bonus. That's really nice. It's cool to have another thing to do daily to sort of check off, especially if you're in need of XP. So I guess it kind of depends on how much XP it is, but I can't imagine for the amount of effort that this requires and how much they want you to go do it, because it is kind of at its core what they want this game to be, out walking. I'm hoping that it's worthwhile, but we'll see. Earning Buddy Heart when you complete a route while adventuring with your buddy. Now, we've also been getting Buddy Hearts from tracking our sleep, so it's kind of nice to see other ways to earn Buddy Hearts that isn't me forgetting to feed them every single day.
Yeah.
So at least they're getting a good night's sleep, and I guess we're going for walks. Zygarde Field Report. Zygarde is a Pokemon that's thought to monitor the ecosystem from deep in the cave where it lives. It can change its appearance based on the number of Zygarde cells that have been gathered. Zygarde cells make up Zygarde, and some theorize these cells could be alive. Whoa, bum, bum, bum. You'll be able to hold Zygarde cells in a Zygarde cube, a device that functions like a nest for Zygarde cells. In its complete form, Zygarde has enough power to overwhelm even Xerneas or Yveltal. You can encounter Zygarde in the special research story from A to Zygarde. Yes, we've already known that. So that research is out. Everybody got it for free. It's 6 steps. I believe the first or second step, you get your Zygarde cube from it. And you also get an encounter with your base 10% or dog form.
Dog form.
Zygarde. Yes, it is a puppy form. We love it. And then from there, I haven't gotten any further in the research, and I'm not a big person on spoiling steps for me when it's brand new like this and not just a rote community day research. So I'm not entirely sure personally what happens after that, but I'm hoping to get some more done today, because one of the things is making routes or walking routes. So hopefully after this for Hatch Day, I'll get a little bit further, but we'll see. So that's the feature announcement. Let's move on since it's kind of rolled into it. Let's talk about the event that came out with this too, okay? Trainers, it's time to chase the horizon and experience a whole new way to adventure in Pokemon Go. We're excited to announce a new feature rolling out today, Routes. To celebrate the launch of Routes, we're hosting a brand new event. blaze new trails. Additionally, the legendary Pokemon Zygarde, the Order Pokemon, will make its Pokemon Go debut in the special research story From A to Zygarde. It seems Zygarde might have some connection to routes. It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Maybe. We don't know.
As somebody who's 3 steps into the research, it's heavily implied, let me tell you. All right, so when is this event? It's a short one. It started on Friday, July 21st. It was yesterday for us, as day of recording is the 22nd. It started at 10 a.m., and it's going to run through this Monday, July 24th at 8 p.m. local time. So unlike the small to no chance of you hearing this prior to Squirtle Community Day Classic makeup, there is a slim chance you might hear this prior to this event being over. Pokemon debut. Zygarde, the Order Pokemon. Weren't you paying attention? Come on. Wild Encounters. I actually really like this Wild Encounter pool, and I was like digging what I was seeing before I read the post to this. So, oh boy. Growlithe, Ponyta, Doduo, Lillipup, Blitzel, and Yungoos are spawning in the wild more frequently. The big one there for me is Growlithe, because I need those XL candies for my Shodundo Arcanine. I'm loving it. And Yungoos has an increased shiny chance for this event. No word on how increased yet. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. I think we're mostly focused and tunnel visioned on routes and Zygarde as a community right now.
Also, I don't think there's a lot of Yungoos stands.
Yeah, but getting the shiny was big for people because it's got pink hair.
Yeah, but it's been out for a very long time now, and it's always featured.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm pretty sure you have 5, Chris.
I have several shiny Yungoos. Yes, I do. Yep.
So
I was talking with my sister yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple of days ago, actually. But point being, we were having a conversation about how some of our medals just aren't filling up or aren't getting progress right now. We were comparing our Magikarp and Tiny Rattata ones. Rattata's never around anymore.
Nope.
Why? This would have been a perfect event for it because it's about routes, and Rattata is like the Route 1 Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, both Magikarp and Rattata have not spawned very much as featured for a long time.
I'm seeing Magikarp in this event quite a bit now, even though they're not listed. I think
there's a little
biomes, but Rattata just completely not around. Maybe it's just this season, and now that's why it's
probably last season too. Though I don't think I saw it last season either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Huh. Anyway, in eggs, yes, there's a little bit of an egg shakeup too. 7-kilometer eggs will feature only three Pokemon for this event: Rockruff, Skwovet, and Phalanx. I am not sure if it's worth it. I mean, Rockruff hunting, so to speak, for the shiny is not too bad. And if you don't have a Phalanx, this is one of the only ways to get it. It was like in raids before, and it was in the Wildfire, I think like 1 event or 2, but it's not around very often. Skwovet is a good catch for PvP, I think. Isn't Greedent decent in some cups? Oh, I'm going to eat those words. I can
probably. I don't know. We might be confusing it with Unite.
I know it's good in Unite, but I know for sure that Greedent has been used in at least a Sylph Cup, but
one of those you need XL for, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Event bonuses: 2/3 distance to earn buddy candy while exploring routes with your buddy, and increased chance to encounter shiny Yungoos, as mentioned earlier. Field research task encounters: it's going to be Yungoos. Farm those pink-haired little Yungooses. They're mongooses, right? Yeah, little mongoose. All right, Mr. Kyle.
Yeah.
Overall, thoughts on routes, Zygarde's debut in this fashion, that spawn pool, the eggs. Talk to me.
Well, first off, the spawn pool means nothing to me. It does nothing for me at all, honestly. That's about it for that. I mean, I don't know how to feel about the eggs. What? I'm already hatching the eggs I need to hatch later today. So
yes, it's true.
But the Zygarde integration with the routes is good. I think it's a good way to make it work. Now, whether it is successful, I don't know. I haven't taken part in any of it, and I won't know until I do.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of routes is it's a positive. Like it's clearly, hey, this is what Niantic wants from people. But to me, it's also sort of detached from its own player base, because you already know, if you're playing Pokemon Go, you already know where you can go to go play. You see clusters of stops. You see a park that exists. That's supposed to be the driving factor.
Right.
And I don't know, following a route that I feel like 90% of the time will be self-explanatory. Oh, this is obviously where someone would walk to play Go, is not very beneficial for a lot of people.
Counterpoint. I think it's beneficial for everybody because you were then going to walk that route anyway. You might as well get additional bonuses from it.
I mean, yes, sure. That's fine. I'm not arguing the benefits of it.
Oh, sure.
I just think like the mentality that they have here, in this whole post, hang on, I'm going to find it here. Routes created by adventurous trainers. Imagine you find another trainer's route. An encounter with your favorite Pokemon? No, because it's not spawning during this season. Like, that's not. You're deliberately missing the point of what, like. It's a Pokemon talking point, but it's not a Pokemon Go talking point.
I believe that there are like different spawns or a chance to see other out of season or out of normal spawn pool spawns in these routes when you're doing them. I'm pretty sure that that's the case.
Okay.
But who's to say that you can plan around that? I don't think you can. I think it's supposed to be just like a nice little surprise in addition. But there's also, when you create the routes, part of it is like you can put notes in there too. And some of the examples that I've been seeing are like, oh, hey, the note is this route starts this Pokestop, whatever. Mid route, there's a beautiful view to the west, So like when you hit the middle of the route or like the next stop or whatever, like 2 stops in or something like that, it'll say stuff like that. And so I think that's part of it too. It's sort of like you're hanging out with somebody else, or like, we know when you're doing time trials and racing games and you have the ghost of your previous runs, it's got that sort of vibe to me, but without the competitiveness of it. It's like you're hanging out with people that aren't there and they're like, hey, isn't that pretty? You're like, oh yeah, look at that, neat.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a positive. I feel like they are very idealistic. It's a very idyllic view of the way people experience the game.
Yeah.
And I don't personally think that's the case from a lot of people that I know playing the game.
Sure.
But like I said, the Zygarde integration is good, except from what I've seen, it is a huge grind.
Yeah, those cells seem quite rare.
And it seems like, this is not confirmed, but I've seen a lot of people talking about it, you can't get a cell from the same route twice. At least not in a certain period. Someone said that they walked and completed the same route like 45 times and they got 1 cell from it at the start.
Okay.
So granted that there may be some kind of internal cooldown, maybe once a week. I don't know, but that does seem to be the case. And you need 50 to go from 10% to 50%.
Yes.
And I don't know how many to go from 50 to complete.
It's more than that. I think it's 100.
I'm sure it's just looking at it or something like that.
Yeah.
But also, I don't actually know this. Does it give candy when you collect a cell?
I don't think there is. Oh, I don't know, Kyle. What a good question. I don't know the answer to.
I haven't taken part of it, so.
Okay. So it's 50 Zygarde cells and 10 candy and 2,000 Stardust to change back. To get to 50% from 10%, right?
Yeah.
In complete form, aka perfect cell in my brain, or also, dude, Zygarde looks like a Digimon, like hands down.
Yes, it does. I don't think the third form does, but I think the first 2 do.
Oh, I think the last one is the one that looks the most. You say that. I think the dog form can get away. That's definitely a Pokemon to me. Form 2, you're getting a little digital, and then Zygarde complete form is like boom, like Omnimon.
I don't know. I think it's I think it's within the same realm as Evital. It's a little different from Xerneas, but it's
within the
very
parameters
similar.
of the style guide.
Yes, exactly. Anyways, the
200 Zygarde cells.
Holy
200.
God,
Kyle.
I'm never getting Zygarde. It's never happening. I'm never getting complete form. If it's a separate dex entry, which it shouldn't be, it's never happening.
You should make a route at work that's just you like behind. It's just like going back and forth.
Can I submit a route that's only like 30 feet long, but I walked back and forth 25 times?
Yeah. Honestly, gotta get those control muscles up. It's pretty much an agility exercise at that point.
But if a cell doesn't give candy, there's no way to get a candy for a Zygarde, which is
you can walk it.
Yes, obviously it's a legendary though, so that's a
walk it rare candy. I kind of need a regular rare candy sync, to be honest with you.
But no, because one thing I point out is it's rank 1 in Open Master League now, complete form Zygarde.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it's Pokelore, so
yeah.
Spoilers. We'll talk about its CP and its base stats and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but it has to be XL, obviously, so that's a huge problem.
Of course.
Anyways.
Whew, boy. Yeah, so that's going to be quite the grind, which, I mean, makes sense that they would incentivize this thing that they want you to very clearly be a daily thing, since it has a daily cooldown and all that sort of stuff for bonus rewards, or however it was worded. It would make sense to have a significant green-colored legendary carrot on a stick for us to chase, more or less, for, gosh, I guess the next year.
Probably, for people who are...
Oh, man. It's going to be a badge of honor to have your perfect form.
Yeah.
Or complete form, whatever it's called. I'm going to just keep calling it Cell. I'm sorry, guys. I'm on such a Dragon Ball Z kick. I just can't free myself. All right. Yeah, I think this is looking interesting. And I'm excited for the both of us to hopefully get a chance to have hands-on with it. I know I'm going to try to make a route today, and it's one of my goals. 3 of them are all route related. So we'll get to that later. Kyle, are you having any interest in making a route this week, or trying to find a route to walk? Or
probably not. We're gonna see. I don't know if I'm gonna make the time to go find one, and I'll try and make a route. But the last few times I made a route, my game just crashed over and over again. So
yeah, that's the
and
other
I've
thing.
seen more reports of that still happening.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna probably hatch eggs today.
Well, anyway, that's the news. Very exciting stuff. Best of luck to everybody in their Hachi-Riolu, your Squirtle Community Makeup Day, and your Blaze New Trails event. I hope you all find at least one Zygarde cell. Okay, I'm kind of excited for this. We're going to hop into Gear Up next.
So this week on Gear Up, I figured we would just kind of talk about the Go++ and our experiences having used it now for... I guess it's technically 7 days exactly. So
I've been using it for more. 8.
But did you get it last Friday?
Yeah, I did.
Fine.
I did. I was one of the lucky few because I ordered through Best Buy. Apparently Best Buy's got their ducks in a row, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the Pokemon company that doesn't. Never. Yeah. But if you ever want something, first tip here for Gear Up. If you ever want something Pokemon related, don't ever buy it from the Pokemon company unless they're the only one who sells it.
Yes.
They never send it on time. You're going to wait weeks. It's terrible. I don't understand. Their shop is awful.
It's for new releases. It is. I love shopping there for like when they put their clothes back in stock and things like that. They give you free shipping for like nothing. It's great.
Stuff that only they sell is fantastic.
Yeah.
Usually. But don't ever buy the games there. Don't ever buy their peripherals there. Anyways, the Pokemon Go++. What has your experience been like in the last 7 days?
Okay, so I love it. I was experiencing a lot of the issues that the people were talking about, the auto catching not working, settings being flipped back when you would unpair it. Sometimes it would just unpair for reasons that didn't make sense, but we've been living with that sort of issue with our peripherals for a while. But I like the feel, the heft of it. The only thing I don't like is how strong the vibration is.
Yeah. Well, so one thing to really hammer in for me, it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a little bit big for me, especially when you compare it to what like the Plus looked like. But compared to the Pokeball, it's great.
Oh, it's superior in every way.
And it just feels good. to just sit in your pocket and whatnot. I think the wrist strap and the magnet is extremely stupid that it comes with. The magnet is not strong enough to actually hold it to the clamp.
The magnet is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I'm of two minds about the vibration, and it's kind of funny because I felt this way about the Plus as well. I didn't care about the Pokeball and its vibration in that regard. The vibration is too strong. It's ridiculous. If you put it on a desk and you're at work and you're catching stuff, you're spinning a stop, whatever, it's going to fall off the desk. It vibrates so much, it will fall off the desk without you touching it.
Yes.
It also sounds like somebody is torturing you whenever it vibrates. So there's that too. That said, something I like about it is the vibration is good enough that when it's in my pocket, I know it's still working. I know that sounds really stupid, but as somebody who's used this device now for, what is it? We're going on 6 years? 5 years? 5 years.
Yes.
Technically 5 years, almost exactly. So often it disconnects and I'm not actually paying attention. I don't notice. So that's a positive. It does not weigh the negative, but it is a positive worth noting.
But also the quick connect feature where you don't have to get your device out. You can just hit the little ball in your app and it'll connect to your paired device. That is huge.
Fantastic. It's amazing. It is amazing. And the sad part about it is that third-party devices were already doing this. And don't want, like, why is the third-party device outshining your first-party device? So that feature is great. It's so positive.
Well, I mean, this is going to sound really dumb, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I'll put myself on the line here. Innovation's a lot easier when the trail's already been blazed.
I mean, yes, but they had the opportunity from the Plus to the ball. I'm just saying.
Like, also, like, there's this thing okay. This seems like an appropriate place to put this. There has been from Niantic this unspoken sort of, we don't like those. We really don't want to do those anymore for about 3 years. And so, like, it made sense to me that they weren't iterating on the iterations they saw on the market as competitors because they were trying to get out of that game for a while until this.
Well, so here
seems to have reversed that narrative because they have another tie-in for another health app.
Well, and it's the big one though is, and this is great for people who are thinking about whether they want to buy it or not. Mm-hmm. This is a much better decision than getting a Ball Plus or the Go Plus.
Yes.
We can both say that extremely confidently for a simple reason. It's connected to sleep. That means they're going to keep making it. Unless sleep dies, they're going to want to keep selling this peripheral. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge deal.
Also, it's a benefit that they can weigh and flex on their third-party competitors.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be sleep in a third-party competitor in the future, but it bought them a lot of time to make sure that the adoption rate for this device was first and foremost.
Yeah. I've had a lot of issues with the device over the last week. For the first 4 days, I had to unpair it and repair it to get it to catch Pokemon. It would connect. The ball would light up in the corner. It would light up. It would do fine. It just would never catch. I literally sat at work for 45 minutes with it connected, and it didn't spin the stop once. Unpaired it, repaired it, it spun it immediately.
Okay.
Hopefully that means that there's a software update that can fix that.
So good news, everyone. I think yesterday there was an update, and all of the issues that you're describing that I was also experiencing, I haven't had one yet, and I played with it pretty much passively all day yesterday.
Okay, that's good. I didn't take part in it at all yesterday. I last played with it, I don't know, Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So there's that. I've seen discussions, and I haven't actually paid attention to myself. People saying that this reacts faster when catching, when you detect the Pokemon to when you hit the button, or when you detect the Pokemon to when it throws the ball itself.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's fantastic. I can't confirm that though.
I've heard people say both. I've heard people say it's slower. I've heard people say it's faster.
I've heard
personally, I think it's a little faster.
I've heard people say that one form is faster, one form is slower. Like if you have an auto catch, it's slower, but if you manually press the button, it's faster.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
could you imagine if they did it on purpose?
Yes, I could imagine. But I also could see that happening because the device takes a split second to decide to throw the Pokeball versus you hitting it with, human reaction of, a quarter of a second or whatever you want to talk about. But
I guess
it doesn't make any sense because it's a computer, but still. Yeah. One thing though about the vibration, you messed up when the first thing that everybody does with their first party device is void the warranty to remove the motor that vibrates.
Yeah.
I mean, you do you. I'm not going to go through that effort, especially after I spent $60 on this thing. It's so expensive.
It is. Yeah. I've been seeing some crazy pictures of people cutting out the vibrator vibrating bit piece. I don't know what it's called. But
it's a motor. I think it's simple.
Okay. Yeah. I can't bring myself to do that.
Nope.
I'm a big, I leave things in the package unless I'm going to actively use it. And if it's out of the package, I'm not going to modify it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I was so bad at playing Warhammer. With the models and stuff, I could never get more creative than what was on the box.
Yeah, it's fair.
And as fun as it was,
but the shape is good. It's this medallion shape. It fits good on your belt if that's how you're going to wear it. It fits easily in a pocket if that's how you want to do it. So that's great versus the Ball Plus, which was very clunky.
Yeah, relatively flat profile.
Yeah,
it's
but
good.
not as it's rounded, which is nice. It's not like a hard hockey puck with edges, so that's good.
And you're not going to lose it like the original Go Plus was so small.
Yeah.
That if it unpaired and it was at the bottom of your purse or your backpack, you were like, I can't find this.
All right. So here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend it to people? And who do you recommend it to?
I recommend it, and I recommend it to everybody.
What about the person who plays Pokemon Go free to play? Not like because they can't afford it, but because that's just how they've chosen to play the game.
Well, if you're going free to play, I think the first question we sort of have to ask is, does that extend to this device as well? Do you consider buying this device no longer being free to play, right? And if the answer is yes, then don't buy it.
Well,
but if the answer is no, then I think it just benefits you across the board.
Yeah. I do think the price is prohibitive. I think it is
100%.
I think it should be half the cost. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. $55, $54.99 or whatever. But if you like to play Pokemon Go in any capacity, I think it makes the experience better. Full stop.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
And if it's very frustrating to say that, actually, because if you can afford it, get it. That's really what I have to say about it. And if you can't afford to get it, it's not good. Like it's you are technically at a disadvantage in that regard from other players who have it.
Do you think it's worth saving up for?
I think if you are saving money to spend on recreation or hobby level activities, and Pokemon Go falls in those categories for you, absolutely. If you could only make like one purchase and you're like, should I get eggs or, should I get raid passes for Go for a month, or should I buy this next month? Buy this next month. And if you treat this right, you'll have it for years.
Yeah.
There are people who still have original Pokeball Pluses. I don't know how they do, but they do.
I don't either. Those people are... I'm just so impressed.
Have you seen Ken Pescator's Pokeball Plus?
I know.
Yeah. So
I know.
For those who don't know, it's literally worn all of the red rubber away on the top, so it's just black. Anyways. This will probably last longer than the Pokeball Plus if I had to guess, because
it's
just simpler.
Plus, also the plastic makes it such that it's not going to wear and tear as easy by use over time.
We didn't talk about it. Sleep integration, really quick.
Yeah,
they bamboozled us.
They
have now done 7 days of sleeping. I've only done 5, and the most I've gotten is 1,800 Stardust.
Yeah, they had a screenshot out ahead of time that we saw and we got a little hyped about. It showed like 5.5 hours of sleep and it showed like 10,000 Stardust.
Yeah.
We were like, yo, this is hype. And then it's like 1,700 Stardust for like 7+ hours of sleep.
Yeah, I don't understand. And it was just to hammer it home, that screenshot was official on the Pokeball Plus Pokemon Go Plus website. So
true.
Was official. So we're slightly salty about that. That said, it's just free Stardust and Buddy Hearts. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
2 per day approximately. That'll save you on average you can get 15-ish hearts a day if you do all of your stuff plus a couple extra, obviously.
I think more than that.
It's like 18 if you do battle and walking and everything.
Yeah, they also added a new heart for doing routes.
Exactly. So +2 can save you like a couple weeks of getting buddy the best buddy.
It's also invaluable if you're like myself and you just forget to do your buddy stuff some days. At least I got 2 hearts.
Yeah. Hey, at this rate, you'll get best buddy in 3 months.
Yes, that's right.
5 months, actually. Never mind.
It's better than forever months, because I'd be doing nothing otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's good. I think it's a great device. I think the sleep integration for me has been relatively flawless. I've been seeing some people have to troubleshoot some things, but for me, it's been great. No complaints.
I did have one issue. I haven't used sleep more than one day with the Plus, but I connected it to sleep, and then the next time I tried to connect it to Go, I had an error, and I had to unpair it and repair it. So hopefully I don't have to pair and repair every time I go between sleep and Go, because that will be annoying.
Yeah, plus when you unpair it and repair it, you lose your sleep data stored on the device.
Yep.
So that's frustrating.
It remembered it, though. Like, I unpaired it and repaired it, and it gave me the 11 hours of sleep that it said I had last night.
11 hours of sleep.
Look. It wasn't actually 11 hours. It was more like 9.5. I just didn't.
9.5 hours, Kyle.
I was tired. I had a long
I thought John Hankey might fly out on a helicopter and congratulate you for an excellent sleep session. Who knows?
It's okay. The previous nights I only had like 5 each.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah. That's like 5 to 6 is like far common.
That's not enough.
It's not enough.
And
You're right.
I know it's not enough. So I make an effort to make sure I get more than that.
I make my own rules. Excellent.
Oh, one comment. This is not really a plus, but it's tied into sleep. So maybe we'll talk about it later too. But sleep rewards you more for having a consistent sleep schedule. And as somebody who works both first and opening and closing, it is not very fair. Just want to say that. So yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could be like, hey, if I'm asleep between the windows of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., that would be good, because that is my window.
Yeah.
I can't fall asleep earlier, and I just can't stay up later.
Yeah. But it's like, set a time to go to bed. I'm like, okay, but 2 days a week I go to bed 4 hours earlier than this.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh well.
Them's the rules.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, there was some Pokemon Go Plus discussion for you. Thank you, Kyle. So takeaways are big impact to your gameplay, little price prohibitive. If you can grab it, our recommendation is that you should.
One more comment to say. If you have a Ball Plus, this is not worth buying at the moment. I don't think it's worth $60 for the current improvement, although it is better. If you were in the market to replace your Ball Plus because it's old or you don't like it as much, go for it.
Or you feel like it's about to break.
Yeah.
Because you can tell when those things are about to break down.
Yeah. But if you're like, I've got this is perfectly serviceable, I don't mind cinching the button down, or you got a 3D printed case or something for it, whatever.
Oh, man.
I would not recommend it. You can't hold this button down, by the way. I want to iterate that for people. You can't set it to use Great Balls and then hold the button down and have it auto catch for you. They thought of that.
I kind of like that, actually.
I mean, I don't like it, but it's
no, I like it because then we're not going to see people running around with like quarters and rubber bands wrapped around their
I just will
devices.
never probably use the Great and Ultra Ball feature.
Yeah, they made us do it for the research, and I haven't gone back to use it since. I got credit for that.
Exactly.
Oh,
yep. Okay, we're gonna go on now. We got places to be. We're running out of time.
That's true. We got Riolu to hatch. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kyle. We're going to move on to Pokelore after a short break. Okay, it's Pokelore time, and as advertised, we're going to be talking about Zygarde, the order Pokemon. Zygarde is a Pokemon whose form depends on the percentage of its cores and cells gathered together. The Zygarde cores are the brain of the Zygarde, and a Zygarde may contain 1 or 5 cores. A Zygarde core is a small green Pokemon with a gelatinous body. It has a large round head with a beak-shaped protrusion on the front, a thin hook-shaped tail, and a red hexagon suspended in its body. Within its head is a single eye with a black pupil. Besides this eye is another white oval that may be a second eye. Zygarde cells make up every other part of Zygarde and appear nearly identical to the Zygarde core. Unlike the core, it has a flat body and head. It has a green pupil, a simpler unhooked tail, and has a darker green, more elongated hexagon within its midsection. Now, in Go, it's seemingly apparent that we only really have to worry about or care about the 10%, 50%, and 100% forms. So this core form, I think, is just simply reserved to largely being the item sort of thing that you collect.
Yeah.
But it is technically a Pokemon in and of itself, as far as the lore is concerned. Zygarde 10% form has a relatively small canine body. It is primarily black with a green collar and leash-like extension on its neck. Additional green markings include 2 hexagon markings on its chest, a small hexagon over each eye, the area around its mouth, and its front left paw. There is an elongated red hexagon marking attached to the collar marking. Its eyes are white hexagons with no discernible pupils, and there is a thin white line on its forehead. On each of its legs are hexagonal, I like that better. Hexagonal extensions, 2 on the back of each elbow, 1 behind each knee, and 2 on each hip. One of the hip extensions is longer than the other on each hip. Zygarde 10% form also has razor-sharp teeth. Just throw that in there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Zygarde 50% form has a serpentine body with green and black markings. Most of its back, head, and neck are black, while the underbelly and the tips of its tail are green. Its eyes are made up of 4 green hexagons, similar to an insect with compound eyes, and there is a thin white line down the center of its face. Across the back of its neck is a large frill made of 5 long, flat protrusions that each have 2 small green hexagons on them. There are 3 short tendrils on each side of its chest. They are black on the right and green on the left. Its tail also ends in 5 tendrils. It has many small green hexagon markings on its body, capable of glowing. Zygarde complete form, aka perfect cell, has a large humanoid body with a long tail similar to Zygarde 50% form's body. There are several flat protrusions around its head and triangular protrusions around its neck. These protrusions make a crown shape. On its face are 3 white hexagonal marks, 1 in the middle of its forehead with a line through it and 2 that act as eyes. There are an additional 5 green hexagons on its face, 4 along the bottom and 1 in the middle of a short protrusion on top. Each shoulder has 2 serpentine wings protruding from it. The wings all have an undulating pattern and a hexagon near the tip, blue on the right side and red on the left. There are multiple white protrusions on its body, 3 on each hand acting as claws, 1 on each knee, and 1 on the front of each foot. Additionally, there are green hexagons surrounding its wrists and 2 under the white protrusions on its knees and feet. Its abdomen has a vertical hexagonal pattern with a thin white line on each side. Across its chest is a thin zigzagging opening that fades between 5 colors: red, orange, white, cyan, and blue. Oh man, we got the Razor RGBs going on in here. The chest can open, revealing 5 cores of each color. Above this opening are 2 large green hexagonal marks. definitely Digimon material, dude. 100%.
Look, okay, so I'd forgotten what complete form looks like.
Yeah.
And had confused it with 50% form. So yes, you are right. Complete form is very Digimon.
Oh yeah,
it's very Digimon.
It looks like the one from Battle Frontier where they would fuse with their Digimon. You're not familiar, are you?
I no. I watched the first season of Digimon when I was a kid, and it didn't mesh with me in the same way.
Yeah, fair enough. There was a season where they fused with their Digimon instead of their Digimon digivolving on their own and the kids just being there. It was interesting. It was like it was very Power Ranger-y. You would probably love it, actually.
Maybe, I don't know. We're not going to get into Digimon right now.
Also, the best intro music out of the entire show was that season.
The concept of Digimon always irritated me as a kid.
I'm sorry to hear that.
The inconsistency of their power and their performance is just I don't want something that changes per battle. I want it to change once, and that's its form. Stop it.
Oh no!
Why do I not get to be Mecha Greymon every single time? Why is it gotta be Greymon and then
because like in Dragon Ball Z, these different forms have different emotional, physical, and mental requirements, and those forms can drain energy over time.
Okay, but they also just feel like the writers wrote and said, okay, now Agumon is going to be able to be the one who wins the day here.
Yes.
Just because it never feels like, oh, okay, this is yes, no, it's just, oh, that happened. Okay, I guess. Well,
okay. I could argue much more about this, but I want to continue. Maybe we'll have a special episode or something. We just argue about Digimon. All right.
I'd have to watch it. So.
You would. And I'm here for that for you. Zygarde cells tend to be scattered around the region while the core remains in watch, usually living in caves. Zygarde's cores and cells do not have the power to battle alone and can only fight when combined to form Zygarde. The cores have their own will and are sometimes able to act on their own, while the cells form the rest of Zygarde's body and are only able to act on the core's orders. As seen in the anime, Zygarde cores are capable of absorbing sunlight to regain their strength, can speak telepathically, and use the cells to observe the ecosystem. Interesting. Nothing in here about absorbing Android 17 and 18. A little disappointing. Stats. This is kind of a wild thing here. Max TP at 40 is 3774, and at 50, 4267. Now, conventional wisdom would lead us to believe that this means that there is some sort of monster attack stat in here somewhere. Well, let me tell you, we were all bamboozled. 389 stamina. That is thick with so many C's.
Oh my gosh.
My goodness. 211 defense and 185 attack. Attack is the lowest out of these three. And that hilarious. Stamina is astronomical.
I'm checking real quick because I want to compare it to Blissey.
You know, when I was looking at this on Game Press, it wasn't even in the ranking. It said it was unranked for stamina. What did you find?
So Blissey has 496 stamina.
Okay.
So this is still, it only has 169 defense though. So this is crazy for a legendary.
What's the attack on Blissey?
129.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, no, it's nuts. This is going to be the TDO king for a while.
I think what its DPS is going to look like, though. Probably not.
We'll see.
Great.
We'll see. And then just for a heads up, the typing on Zygarde is Dragon Ground. Interesting typing. Sorry, Flygon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Best moveset. Oh, also Garchomp, I guess. Best moveset, Dragon Tail with Outrage and Bulldoze. I guess there could be an argument made for Earthquake instead of Bulldoze, but I've been told time and time again that Bulldoze is better. So there you go. And apparently, like Kyle said, quite good in Master League XL. So, yep.
Yeah.
There's that. I guess we won't have to worry about it for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, with the cells thing, it also gates it from being gotten in some illegitimate way by farming candies.
Not really. because
Well,
you
in
can
order
just
to
the
evolve
same,
it.
but the same illegitimate way can be used to then artificially complete routes.
Oh, I'm thinking of two. We're thinking of two different
Well,
illegitimate
I'm
ways.
thinking of if one person is willing to do one way, they're willing to do the other.
Okay, that's fair enough. I suppose. Yeah, where do people draw the line?
Yeah.
And maybe there just isn't one drawn.
Yeah. Well, for whatever reason, Game Press's DPS calculator doesn't have complete Zygarde. It only has 50% Zygarde.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
kind of annoying. Can't really check the numbers then, but at the moment, I'd have to manually do it. 50% is not good. Don't worry about that one.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. But that's it for Zygarde. And there, I guess, for Pokelore. So great. That means we're in Pokepole territory.
Last week's Pokepole was, do you think an accessory like the Pokemon Go Plus Plus is a positive, negative, or neutral for the game, and why? First response is from Maxitron. They said, I think it's a positive for gameplay for the reasons Kyle listed. You get to focus on what you want to do rather than the mundane. I do wish, however, that it didn't need to be a physical item with virtually no other utility to it. We live in an age of smartware and apps, so why can't these devices do more? And if they don't want them to do more, and that's fine because that's another R&D department, why not just relegate it to an extra app that overlays Pokemon Go? Why does TPC/Niantic think I need a flashing, vibrating, Pikachuing button useful for 1 to 2 apps? In the future of smartware and bio-augmentation, I want my cranium vibrating and my forehead lighting up every time I'm near a Pokemon or Pokestop, so that I look like I'm one of those Generation 4 sprites when they enter battle in the main series. I'm out of Pokeballs. I want my vision to turn two-tone like a Pokeball to remind me to blink twice to buy 100 extra Pokeballs and to signal that I need serious help.
Blink 3 times if you need help. Blink twice to purchase 100 Pokeballs.
Oh my god! It's a fair criticism. A device that does nothing except integrate with Go.
Well, it also has to serve as an alarm for the sleep stuff.
I mean,
so that's probably why it's been amped up in the vibration and the volume departments.
Yeah. Also, the Pikachu lullaby is very weird.
I think it is the cutest thing.
I thought
ever.
It was cute the first time, and I'm glad you can either turn it off or hit the button once to interrupt it.
I think it's very
For those of you who don't know, when Pikachu starts singing the lullaby, if you just hit the button again, it will stop the lullaby, but not turn off the sleep tracking.
Yep. Counterpoint, you could let Pikachu lull you to sleep.
No.
With a lullaby.
No. Next one is from Timmer Rapp, and they said, one aspect of the accessory devices that ironically contributes to the purpose of Go is that you can now play without playing, or rather looking at your phone. This game can be so immersive that it's very easy to go long stretches without looking up, and this can contradict the purpose of Go, being able to explore places outside and engage with social groups. I am personally frustrated by this, more so when I realize I'm doing it than when I see others. And sometimes I will even opt to play without quick catching, just to give myself periodic moments of walking with my phone by my side while the game goes through the catch animation. I get this is more of a personal take on how an accessory can influence one's playstyle, but I believe more spatial awareness as a result can positively impact playing Go and the experiences with it, even if that experience is simply taking a 15-minute walk down the street you live on. Full disclosure, I have never played with any of these devices, and I'm looking forward to hearing your reviews of the Go Plus Plus next episode. Although after this episode, Kyle has more or less convinced me I should get one, and I probably will. Once I do, I'll let you know of my thoughts, if my thoughts above change at all. Well, I look forward to hearing if your thoughts change, because it sounds like you're also positive about it, but negative at the same time, which I get.
Yeah.
I think... No, go ahead.
This is the big thing. That's all I wanted to say. Like the whole playing without looking at your phone thing is really the biggest selling point for most use cases, I think.
Yeah. So there are 2 levels to a Go Plus usage in my eyes. There's one, using it to augment your gameplay, which means it can spin stops while you're catching Pokemon, but you're still actively playing the game. That's how we use it most community days, for example, because you don't want it to take time to spin gyms and spin stops and stuff like that. And then 2 is to augment your experience outside instead. And that's where you connect to Go, you put your phone in your pocket, and you go for a walk. Both of those are valuable, and both of those, I have done both of those personally.
Mm-hmm.
There are days where I'm playing Go and I get to a point where I'm like, no, okay, that's it. I'm satisfied. I would like to get a little bit more out of this, and that's what the Go Plus is going to do for me. And
there are
great.
points more to what you're also just saying. I mean, like there are points at live events where I need to take a break, but I don't want to stop the grind. And Kyle has seen this. This is where the joke of him reminding me to finish my research comes in, because when we're with groups, I have a tendency to just like forget to keep playing, and I'll just be too busy walking and talking with people or planning things or whatever, right? And so this makes that possible and valid, and I think there's no quantifiable value that you can really put with that, you know.
And one more thing I want to say, this is partially a joke, but partially not. Pokemon Go players are the most aware of their surroundings I know of anybody who watches on their phone.
Very true.
I have played Pokemon in extremely packed environments, and people are so good. It's kind of scary how good they are at being like, nope, I'm in the way, and stuff like that, and not running into each other.
It's because we're scared stiff about being eaten by a Gyarados.
That's of course, this is not actually a factual statement. I'm sure there are plenty of stories of people walking into poles because they're looking at their phone. But I have to say that I do think that people playing Go are more aware of their phone, of their environment, than people watching a YouTube video on their phone.
Yes.
Or texting or stuff like that. Which is not to negate the fact that you should be aware of your surroundings in that regard. I just think it's very funny because I do notice it a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's because this game has been out long enough, and we've sort of like survival of the fittest, the rest of them out.
Let's not talk about all the robberies that occurred in 2016.
Yeah, those stories that came out were insane. People getting into like physical altercations over gyms and stuff too. I'm so glad we don't hear stories like that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Next response is from Modders, and he said, "Hello, gents. It's got to be a positive. Anything that tops up your resources with little or no effort required can only encourage trainers to catch, hatch, battle, raid, and power up more mons. More engagement has to be a plus. Plus, right? Loving your work as ever, chaps. Cheers." That's fair. I think the biggest value of the plus for me is spinning stops. Full
auto
stop.
spinning. Yeah.
Next one's from Everdark Raven. They said, "For me, it's mostly positive. I don't see how auto catch is any different than fast catching. It's also nice to spin stops while driving to and from work or driving to and from the park. It's also nice to keep catching and spinning while doing a raid or rocket battle." True. That's big.
Yeah.
It's big. Not going to lie. The one negative should be the chance of Pokemon fleeing can get annoying. They say never to check your journal while using an accessory device because you'll see how many shiny Pokemon it failed to catch. Doesn't show if it's shiny if the Go Plus missed it. So
really? I thought it did.
Unless they've updated it, but I don't think they did.
I've seen some screenshots, yeah.
If you check the Pokemon to see if it's shiny, back out and let the Plus catch it, it will say it was shiny when it runs away. But if you never see it, it doesn't. Unless if it's been updated, that's fair. Someone let me know. But
I've seen some screenshots, but I don't know what the circumstance led up to the screenshots were, so I can't use them as counter evidence.
There are times where I'll have it only spinning stops, so I don't have to worry about the flea rate. This past weekend, for instance, I kept auto catch off so I could try to catch Komala without having to worry about half of them running away. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the long Discord message. It's okay. We got a bunch of long ones today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely true. We'll have to do a bit of user suggestions, user guides and stuff for the Go Plus for everyone new getting it because they never had one before. But knowing when to turn off the auto catching is like number one.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And it's also a good thing to point out that when it does catch the Pokemon, the experience that you get is base.
Yep.
And so is the Stardust. So
which
if
is
it's
100.
Right. So if it's a catch experience based community day, for example, right? those base catches will have the multiplier on them, but you won't be getting like the great throw, the first throw, any bonus that you'd be getting from the type of throw that you threw. So like in those instances, it's almost better to just turn it off if your goal is to get experience.
Yep. Yeah, I've definitely been there. You'll be getting 300 experience instead of 9,000. So
yeah, big difference, huge difference.
All right, last one's from Venus C Prime. They said, overall positive, especially as I've tried to define a healthier relationship to the game and have required greater usage of a walking cane due to a bad leg. With the notable exception of Squirtle Day due to the field research, it's been a long time since I played a non-XP community day. See, there you go. While looking at my phone most of the time. At GoFest London, I'm planning to catch the things I want to catch and then go plus my way through the collection challenges. However, I will echo that what other people have said. The additional device aspect shouldn't be a requirement. Pikmin Bloom's flower planting mode provides a model for how this could work without an additional device. And the Apple Watch app provided some limited functionality while that was around. Ooh, that was a long time ago.
Ooh, yeah, that's a throwback.
But also, Niantic / Nintendo's implementation of these devices is also frequently questionable at best. The day one story about the Go++ should not have been people voiding their warranty to remove the vibration motor. See, there you go.
Yep.
The Pokeball Plus had the random please interact lights and shakes when you weren't expecting it, so not great to take to work. And that's without factoring in the need for the rubber band trick unless you want to pay it more attention than you should have to. Yeah, all fair points.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
I love the day one story of people taking out the motor. Very funny.
Man, some of those images just feel so cursed to me as somebody who's like, I like taking care of the products that I get. Oh my gosh, they look like they're on like surgery tables. It's like a little horror movie.
Yep.
Ugh.
All right. So this week's Pokepoll is, how do you feel about unique Pokemon debuts in Pokemon Go like Zygarde? Does it feel good or like a gimmick?
I mean, the answer could also be both. It could be a gimmick and feel great.
Like, oh my gosh, Kecleon, gimmick and good. In my opinion.
Yeah, with the caveat that it needs to spawn more.
Yeah, it's too rare.
Right.
I think I've seen one Kecleon in like 3 weeks, but anyways, I still need best buddies, so I'm not even on that step still. I'm making a commitment right now, by the way, to finish all my research except for the masterwork, because that's going to be a while for me, and the one rocket that I'm stacking. So we're
by when?
No, I'm just actively progressing them.
Oh, okay.
The two that I have currently are catch 50 psychics from the Starry Sky one.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I got to that step after the event ended. Okay, I'm sorry.
Too slow. You're too slow.
Yes, I was too slow. I was busy, but I made poor decisions that time. But anyways, I'm at like 45 out of 50. But
okay.
Still,
almost there.
There's not a lot of psychic type spawning. Cut me some slack.
No, there's Growlithe though. You can catch a bunch of Growlithe.
That's not going to help me.
No, it's not.
I think that unique Pokemon debut have been good so far. We have Zygarde. We have Smeargle. We have Kecleon. We have Zorua. Let's ignore the fiasco because I don't think that factors into the actual conversation.
No, it's completely fine now. They fixed that.
That's
done and dusted.
The release of it was, the debut was a
yeah, it was a hot mess. Yeah. Oh, PSA. Those of you that are looking to use your Master Balls on the Galarian birds, and if you already have one and it's your buddy, just remember that your buddy is what Zorua will appear as on the overworld map. So don't walk a Galarian Zapdos, see a Galarian Zapdos, and then Master Ball a Zorua by accident. Just please be aware out there. I don't want my heart broken again on Twitter. Please.
Did you see a tweet?
I saw somebody either somebody told the story or that they did it themselves. It was one of the two. I'll have to see if I can find it again to send to you.
I hope to God that's not true. I think every unique debut that they've done has been good.
Oh, no, you know what it was? I was listening to the Incense podcast, and I think Cricket told that story because she was on recently.
Okay.
Yes. Didn't happen to Cricket. I think it was a story that she heard. Anyway.
Okay. How do you feel, Chris?
I think this is beautiful. I think it's great. I like anything that ties into a new feature. I think Smeargle was done really, really well, and it continues to be well tuned, in my opinion, for the Smeargle things, and Snapshot being flexed into other events and stuff like that, like Community Day. And I really do like Zorua and Ditto as well, because they're kind of a similar sort of thing. I think that's fun, cool stuff. And I think that this tie-in to routes, while maybe tuned a little too long, is interesting. Because if you look at things like Daily Adventure Incense, if Daily Adventure Incense did not have the Galarian birds in it, I think if they didn't have these really significant carrot on the stick of the Galarian birds, I don't think as many people would be using Adventure Incense, except for the people it's meant and designed to benefit, specifically like role players.
Yeah.
So for this, where it's like, oh, routes is actually kind of good on its own, but also here's this other thing to really encourage you to explore this feature deeply. I think that's good. I think it's really, really good. And I don't mind if it's gimmicky. If it feels good, good by me. That's fine. My fear is that not fear, but my gut feeling is that some people are going to be upset because it's a legendary Pokemon being treated in a different way than other things. But at the same time, there are unique Pokemon out there, like Zygarde, who have this entire cell-based thing that we would want to interact with fully to get the full experience of that Pokemon. And Go is unlike other Pokemon games. So this is the best way to introduce something like this. That's my argument. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only issue to be had with the gimmicks, the debuts that they've had for unique Pokemon, is how long it's taken.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Smeargle took forever. Kecleon even longer.
Kecleon should have come out at a similar time to Smeargle. Mm-hmm. They could have been 3 months apart. The concept, they could have done it. They probably couldn't have the code as spaghetti, but the idea should have been done. That's all. Yeah. I understand routes have had a very shaky time, especially since 2020. So that's understandable. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so we'd be interested in hearing what you have to say about this, dear listener. Again, this week's Pokeball question was, how do you feel about unique Pokemon debuts in Pokemon Go, like Zygarde? Does it feel good or like a gimmick? Again, it can be both. If you'd like to answer this week's Pokeball question, you can do so after we post it on Twitter at GOCast Podcast. If you're a patron of ours on our Patreon Discord, we have a channel dedicated to it. More about Patreon and patronage at the end of the show, as always. If you'd like to post an answer via Spotify mobile app, if you're listening on there, the question will be posted there as well for you to respond to. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, again, another reminder, there is a video version of this podcast. I put a lot of time into it. Please go take a look. You can also respond there via a comment on the video. And then if you'd like to send us an email, you can also do that to mail@gocastpodcast.com or call in and leave a voicemail to 262-586-7717. Cool. And speaking of emails and voicemails, Kyle, what portion of the show is it?
It's time for emails.
Oh, that's right. And one singular voicemail from now regular voicemailer, Crazy Cobra. And we'll start there.
Hey, Chris and Kyle. It's Crazy Cobra again. Hope you're having a good morning, or afternoon, or night. I picked up my Pokemon Go Plus at GameStop today. I've been testing it out for about half an hour now while listening to the podcast, and it seems to be working fine. I've actually never had an auto catcher before, so it seems like whatever I've got is going to be an upgrade from what I had before. And honestly, having an auto catcher has been just really fun. I think it's definitely going to be used more to spin Pokestops rather than catching Pokemon. Yeah. Because I prefer to encounter them myself, but I definitely understand the appeal of just being able to have them catch automatically. Anyways, fun little story. I just got home from a family reunion, and I had a bunch of fun. And one of the things we did was we took a tour of a lake in a motorboat. So I thought that would be a great time to just open up my game and let it run in my pockets to earn some mileage. Much to my amazement, I did get in like 8 kilometers on that 2-hour trip. So
nice.
Honestly, I'm glad I turned on the game. And while I was riding, it got me thinking about what we had been talking about last time, about how Pokemon Go could be taken to the next level. And very quickly, some more ideas for getting the game more immersive came into my head. And I started writing them down, and now I have a list of 20 of them, and yeah, I'm never going to be able to say all of them at once, but I thought maybe I could say a few this week and maybe put in some more next week, because they're really fun ideas in my opinion, and I wanted to share them. So if I open up my list here, yes. So first off was a fancy graphics setting. I thought that would be a pretty cool idea. So basically just shaders, but for Pokemon Go. Anything to make the game feel a little more premium. It already is nice, and it's not meant to be something you look at your phone for, but just a little bit of a visual upgrade seems like a fun idea for Pokemon Go. And along with that was my second idea, which is more immersive backgrounds. So instead of that stretched out PNG of nature in the background whenever you encounter a Pokemon, you might have some 3D models of trees and flowers. Well, that would also double as a beautiful background. It would also be a way to gauge distance between Pokemon. In my experience, sometimes I have a really tough time actually getting the Pokeball to land on the Pokemon. Like today with Snorlax, I had to really throw hard because I hadn't noticed how far away it was. I had just been throwing it about halfway there, and so it was just bouncing off the ground. Any kind of way to gauge the distance between you and the Pokemon would be really helpful, because right now it's basically just a flat green color. There's a little bit of texture, but not much at all, and to have a little something there to gauge the distance would just be really helpful. And then finally for today, locational encounter backgrounds. So as you guys were saying before, just to be able to have the different colors on the map would be nice. And if you were standing in a sandbar on a sandy area, then it would show sand underneath you instead of grass. Or if you were in the ocean. Actually, I have no idea what you'd do there. But,
Not play
come
Go.
on, Niantic,
Not
get
play
creative.
Go.
I think that just sounds like a really fun idea. And then, also, whenever you're going really quickly, instead of running across the map, why not put your guy in a model, on a Pokebike or something like that? Or whenever you're in the water, put you in a little motorboat or something like that. Anyways, those just seemed like fun little ideas to make the game just pop a little more. Anyways, caught a shiny Nidorina today.
Nice.
So shiny vibes to you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, and thank you to Hero Ice for the tips about Pokestop nomination. I did actually get my first Pokestop accepted into the game today. So yeah, thank you guys. Bye.
Nice.
Wow, congratulations on getting your first Pokestop, and that's awesome. I think you're on par with how many Pokestops we've gotten in and approved.
Chris, you catch any shinies this week?
I did. I caught a Bidoof.
I caught a shiny Swablu.
Yo, we love it.
Go plus for the win.
That's right. That's right. I do want to say, first of all, thank you very much it sounds like you edited that down a bit. So thanks for doing that. And man, I agree. I kind of think hands down with the idea of or the fun idea of locational based things, but more so the distance, having a few things to judge distance on how far away a Pokemon is or is not. The only challenge there is going to be when they're flying and up in the sky. Yeah,
but I think the replaced texture of solid neon green that we've had for 7 years now would be a great start to have it actually be a video game texture of some kind. That would help. It gives you something to judge it on.
Yeah, definitely. My first initial reaction to that was, oh, we don't need that. I've never had a problem with that. But not everybody has thrown hundreds of thousands of Pokeballs.
Also, that's an outright lie, because you have had a problem. It just took you a really long time to get to where it's not a problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true.
Remember Moltres Raid Day?
Yeah, do you remember when Aerodactyl was so far away that no matter how hard you threw it, you couldn't get it?
Yeah, so there's plenty. Or how difficult it is to get excellence on Weedle and Caterpie and stuff because they're so close.
Speak for yourself. It's so easy.
I know you're lying.
I can do it. It is hard though.
I know you can do it, but I know that you're lying.
Yes, I'm lying. 100%
but yes,
lying.
I would really like that. That's a hard one to just implement though. For sure. I don't know what the solution necessarily looks like, but I would like to see one.
Yeah, it's also difficult because there needs to be a sense of scale for some of these Pokemon. They're bigger than other ones. So, yeah. But thank you very much for the voicemail, Crazy Cobra. Appreciate it. And Kyle's going to take us away with some emails.
First email's from Andrew. And they said, hi, Chris and Kyle / Kyle and Chris. Last episode, there was an emailer who asked for advice on things to not forget when going to GoFest Japan. The Battle Cats podcast did a recent episode that goes over exactly that, featuring someone who has been to Japan multiple times and goes over almost everything someone could want to know about the subject. Can you pass this along to that emailer and anyone else who is interested? Thanks, Andrew.
So just a heads up, the Battle Cats podcast is Speediest Chief 2, who we've interviewed on the show in the past, and Caleb Peng, who was just on PvP Corner like about a week ago. So those are the two co-hosts. They are also play Pokemon commentators, rather prominent in that role, actually, and they know what they're talking about, and that show is great. So you should go listen and find that episode for sure.
Also, then, just to throw out one bit here that someone pointed out to us, make sure you sort out your cellular data. Whatever that may look like for your provider, you may have to search it up. You may just be able to get a SIM card while you're in Osaka. I don't know the exact answer, but we neglected to mention that last week.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And that's a good bit.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for the email, Andrew. This next one is from Dan. Hey, Chris and Kyle, I wanted to send you an email in case you guys were feeling down. In last week's show, an Aussie gent left you guys a voicemail saying that he caught 2 hundo Squirtles while listening to the Incense podcast and only got a measly nundo coughing while listening to your podcast. Well, I'll be extremely happy to inform you guys that about 10 minutes after that voicemail, as I was still listening to your show, I completed the Starry Skies research and hundo Cosmog. Boom! I screamed in my best Zionic voice. Now I will have a hundo Lunala to go along with my Soul Galeo, unless I decide to double down on Soul Galeo and torture myself in Master League. Lastly, I know I'm a few episodes late, but just the other day, I thought of my perfect Pokemon Go crossover event. I know it would never happen, but my pick would be Pogo X Star Wars. Keeping the trend going from recent researches, players would be able to choose their path, light side or dark side. Dark side path would encounter dark, electric, and fighting types, while the light would encounter more psychic, ghost, and flying types. Oh, those are perfect type picks. At the end of the research, based on the path you chose, you would receive 2 Pokemon. Choose dark side and receive a Sableye. Sableye's red gem, or in this case, Kyber Crystal, would also give you a costumed Pikachu wearing a Sith robe and holding a red lightsaber. Choose light side and encounter a shiny Sableye in its green Kyber Crystal. Your costume Pikachu would be wearing a Jedi robe and holding a green lightsaber. I would do anything just to see a costumed Sith or a Jedi Pikachu in my inventory. Would either of you enjoy a Star Wars Pokemon mashup? And if so, what would you add to my idea? Sorry for the long email. Shiny vibes all, and may the leads be ever in your favor. Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, both Chris and I love Star Wars, so this would be amazing. I don't know what I'd add right now, although you can't make one of the rewards a shiny Sableye because everyone's just going to pick the shiny Sableye. But I appreciate the thought that has gone into the theming for everything, for sure.
I think it's just that it fits too well to not be there, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't have anything else to add to this, at least not for now. I think this is beautiful. As Kyle said,
I want
big Star Wars fans.
Pikachu with a Stormtrooper hat in the wild.
Ooh, that'd be awesome, except they wouldn't do that because Stormtroopers are bad.
I mean, I know they're bad, but it doesn't matter.
But they're iconic and cool. Who cares? Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the email. Great ideas. Great ideas.
The last email is from Walter, and they said, greetings, Chris and Kyle. Great Pokeball question. Personally, I think the Pokeball Plus is an overall detriment to the player base and the game overall. For a few reasons. Number one is...
Spicy?
Spicy? It is spicy. Number one is the monetary aspect. Yes. The advantage that can be gained from offline farming is pretty huge and puts people who can't/won't buy it or afford the price tag at a significant disadvantage. Secondly, I think it actually takes away focus from the game. I've heard you two talk about it enhancing someone's in-game experience, but just using it without the app throughout the day takes the focus off of Pokemon Go. It can have detriments to how the game is played otherwise. Because people know they are catching all the Pokemon they can without even opening the app. Niantic could have made it cheaper and enhanced game experience for everyone, instead of just the few players who are more invested monetarily. Moving on from that, however, I have a question about the shiny sunglass Squirtles. I did about 8 or 9 tasks because I couldn't play for all that long and got 3 shinies.
Whoa.
What are the shiny odds for these Pokemon? It seems weird that I got something around 33% and Kyle got none from 50 or 60. Thanks as always. Love the show. Not sorry for the long email. Shiny luck all and good luck on the coming Poliwag Community Day. Sincerely, Walter. Well, so first off, I don't think I know what the shiny odds people calculated were, but if I had to guess, it was probably 1 in 25.
I think it's 1 in 25. Yeah, that was also my guess in my head.
You were exceptionally lucky, Walter, and I was exceptionally unlucky.
Yep. That's how that works, unfortunately. Yeah.
Now, for the Ball plus, the monetary thing is a big deal. I'm not going to question it. It is exceptionally expensive for what it is. But I think the distinction between being an enhancement to somebody's gameplay versus being a detriment is the Ball Plus enhances when you're actually playing the game. And the detriment that you say, which is definitely a factor, is when you're not playing the game, that's fair. I think that when you have the game open and you want to catch Pokemon or you want to play Go, the plus enhances the experience. When you're walking from place to place, it is a detriment technically because you don't have to open the game. And I think that's a fair criticism for sure.
Yeah, seconded on all counts. Yep,
That's
pro-con in the same category.
That's it. I do want to drive home the catch rate for the plus, the Pokeball plus, the Go plus is abysmal. It's bad. And it's worse depending on the feature of the Pokemon. So it really is a way to just convert Pokeballs into small amounts of Stardust and experience that adds up over time. But it is much worse than playing by hand. And it's just want to make sure that that's clear for everybody. It's far more convenient, but its outcome is worse. It can just be used when you can't or don't want to play.
You're also trading the dopamine hit of the shiny in the wild to scrolling through your bag and seeing it there.
True. That said, typing in shiny in the search bar and seeing something you didn't know before is its own dopamine hit.
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
That said, final takeaway, it's expensive. That is unfortunate. I don't think Niantic had any say in that matter. So definitely don't direct that at Niantic. Just want to further one. This is firmly the Pokemon Company.
The Pokemon Company, Nintendo, Select Button is also in the mix, who's the developer of Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hands in this pie, So, yep. Okie dokie. Thank you so much for the emails and voicemail. If you, dear listener, would like to participate in the same way, you can send us an email to mail@gocastpodcast.com. Voicemails can be made by calling 262-586-7717. You can also send us a file if you'd like. Now, with that said, I keep forgetting to mention it, but there is like a 3-minute time limit on the call-in line. And so we'd like to keep that relatively similar for other files as well. So if you send us one, as long as you're like close to 3 minutes, you're good. But if we get like an 8.5 minute long voicemail, I don't want people to be disappointed. So just ahead of time, that's a long time. We probably will either take a portion of it or bypass it. Mm-hmm. So just a heads up, Cool. All right. So website is GOCastPodcast.com. Go there for anything GoCast podcast related you might want, including like how to spell our email address and our number again. Follow us on Twitter at GoCast Podcast. We also have a Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show for as little as $1 a month, you can by going to Patreon. That's patreon.com/GoCast Podcast. And speaking of patrons, shout out to our elite trainer tier patrons. Thank you to Bo, Daniel, Lori, Michael, Ozzy, Arkham, Tish, Marvin and Mimi, Sforts, Orhasui and Ryan, Thayer, Jason, Justin, Charles, Modders, Lee, William, Brandon, Ethan, Steven, Nick, Kelvin, our favorite listener, Drew 2, Camo, The Ugly Rock, Jacob, and Victoria. Thank you very, very much for your generous support of the show and for helping us keep the digital lights on. Very much appreciated. And if monetary support is in the cards for you, or you're looking for an additional way to help support the show, please consider heavily leaving us a review where reviews can be left. Thank you. All right, Mr. Kyle, last thing to do here before we go hatch some Riolu, please. Let's set some goals. What are you looking to do this week?
I want 1 shiny Riolu.
Okay.
I'm going to work on my Mega Progress. And I need 200,000 experience. If I do that every week until GoFest, I will be level 47. So
shoot for the stars, man. Shoot for the stars.
The incense boys can't yell at me. So
good. I'm going to need to remind them to give you a very hard time about it if it doesn't happen.
It might not happen. There is a possibility that I get it while I'm there.
Oh, I mean, that's cool too. We'll see. For myself, I want to catch hatch 2 shiny Riolu, make a route, walk a route, and find a Zygarde cell. I might be shooting myself in the foot with that last one, but I guess time will tell. Great. So thanks very much for listening all the way through, everybody. We'll see you next week for episode 245. GoFest is on the horizon, y'all. Shiny vibes. Good luck this weekend, or I hope you had good luck this weekend, depending on when you're listening to this. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.